Hi, my name is Babar Hamid, and my recent job assignment was I was the director commercial for the Pakistan Cricket Board, and I was the head of PSL from 2019 to 2021. I've been involved with a lot of other marketing activities throughout my career of 25 years, and I'm here to give an interview to this lovely lady and talk about sports and how sports play a very important role for our youth and for the progress of the country and its economy.
Do you know what kabaddi is?
I'm a Punjabi and I know what kabaddi is. Yes.
Okay. How much do you know about the game?
Well, I don't know the rules and regulations and the details, but I do know that it's a sport that has been there for centuries in central Punjab primarily and southern. But I'm not aware of the exact details of the game. Yeah.
Have you ever played or witnessed the game?
No, I've never played the game, and I've never actually even witnessed in person. Just seen it on TV once or twice, but I know that it's a sport which is now gathering momentum. It's a sport which, in India, after IPL, the Kabaddi League is the second biggest league. It's bigger than their volleyball league. It's bigger than their badminton league. It's bigger than their hockey league. And in Pakistan also, we've had kabaddi matches in the last couple of years. We've had the Pakistan and India World Cup here of kabaddi, and the next one is, if I'm not too mistaken, the next one is also coming up pretty soon.
So why do you think kabaddi is not as popular as cricket?
So I think it's not a game for masses. It's a very niche sport which is played in a very niche area. Secondly, for any sport to be popular, it has to make commercial sense, and for it has to make commercial sense, it has to be televised, and it has to be televised to masses. If you go back and you look at hockey, which is our national sport. By the way, cricket is not our national sport. Hockey is, right? So if you look at hockey as a sport, Pakistan was very good in hockey, and we won all the World Cups and all the you name the tournament, and Pakistan had won it. But why did it stop happening, and why has hockey fallen through the cracks? The reason is that there was no commercial value behind it. For commercial value, any sport has to be tailor-made according to the TV audience. Okay, so if you look at cricket matches, after every over there is a 30-second television commercial break. The game is structured in a way that after every over there is a 30-second commercial break, and that's where the money comes in. That's where the rights of that particular sport, when they are sold to broadcasters, that is where the money comes in. So hockey, there used to be a 35-minute non-stop sport, and because of that there was no commercial value attached to it. And similarly kabaddi, right? But now if you look at the value proposition behind kabaddi, they have actually tailor-made and changed the rules in a way that there are smaller action times, and then there are intermediate breaks where the sport can actually be monetized. So once it starts happening, once it's advertised, televised on TV, that's where the interest will generate. As I said, India has done it successfully, and I think Pakistan is on the way doing it now.
Well, you already answered the question, but the next question was, what actions can be taken in order to improve kabaddi and to make it common around Pakistan?
You see, I believe that it will not replace your number one sport in Pakistan, because kabaddi has been a very male-dominated, male-oriented sport. Um, and internationally as well, it's been like that. So that sort of alienates a bigger chunk of our female population. So it won't become your number one sport, but for kabaddi to be recognized and kabaddi to be to come up the popularity ladder, we will have to support the players, we will have to support the sport by the government itself, because without the government's intervention and without any federation support, no sport can become big. PCB today is PCB because the government initially supported it, and now it's an independent organization which does not take any money from the government, and they generate the money themselves by sponsorships and broadcasting rights. So that's the first step. Secondly, unless and until it is broadcasted on TV, masses watch it, it generates eyeballs, it will not have that popularity which we aspire for it to have. So yeah, that's something that we'll have to do.
So what do you think the effect that COVID has had on other sports? What effect might it have it had on kabaddi? And also what injury factors that could have played about players not being able to get the proper treatment because of COVID restrictions?
So you see, COVID pandemic was very tough 2 years for each and every industry and each and every sport. Again, cricket being the biggest sport in Pakistan, we had PSL matches disbanded and then played under zero crowd. Internationally, all the sports suffered, even Olympics suffered. The World Cup was delayed, the Football World Cup was delayed because of COVID. And similarly, when it comes to kabaddi is a touch sport, right? There is human contact. Cricket is not a touch sport as such, but kabaddi is. So obviously it was affected, and like any other sport. So I feel, now that we are out of the COVID restrictions and the world has come back to where it was, things should improve for kabaddi as well. And moving forward, I see Pakistan kabaddi improving.
What are other factors that you think prevent the game from being played as much, excluding COVID?
So you see, as I mentioned earlier, it's a very niche sport. It's a very central Punjab oriented sport. Even in India, it's like that, and so is in Pakistan. So I think that is one major thing which restricts its popularity. Secondly, because it has not been promoted by the government or by the authorities or the federations. So because of that, people don't know what kabaddi is. It has not been televised as such. So we don't know what the rules and regulations are. There haven't been, because of all this has happened, there haven't been any stars of kabaddi, international stars or even local stars, right? So if you go back and you look at my times in hockey, because Pakistan was doing very well, so we used to have hockey stars. We used to have Shabazz Jr., we used to have Hassan Sardar, Samiullah, Kalimullah, all these big names who were playing for Pakistan at that point in time. When it comes to squash, there used to be Jahangir Khan, there was Jahansher Khan. Again, because Pakistan was doing great, they were international stars as well as local stars. And then if you look at cricket, obviously, we have had all the cricket stars and we still have cricket stars. So because of kabaddi not being promoted, not being televised, not being advertised, not being talked about, we haven't had any stars as well. So for kabaddi to move forward in the right direction, the first step, as I said, federation helping it, sponsors coming in. It's a team sport. It should be tailored in a way that it is broadcastable, and that's when the eyeballs will start to come in and sponsors will start to pour in.
So let's do a little bit of a comparison between India and Pakistan and how India has managed to make kabaddi um, a noticeably bigger sport and deal within the country, whereas it's not as big of a deal in Pakistan.
So you see, it's about a model, right? If you look at IPL started, I think, about 14 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, and PSL started in 2016. So this is going to be now the 8th PSL, which will happen in 2023, whereas IPL has had at least 6 to 7 years a head start. So when one model of a sport was successful, India went into replicating that model for other sports. So they started a volleyball league, they started a kabaddi league, they started a hockey league, and I think they also started a badminton league. Pakistan is now at a stage where our PSL is a mature brand, and we are now, or there's some companies and there are a few sponsors who are now looking at other sports as well. So kabaddi, I feel, will soon follow the same model as it has followed back in India.
So we talked about popularizing the sport already, but things about leagues that have certain requirements, for example, the Olympics. Pakistan is already not too prevalent within the Olympics. However, in the last Olympics, we did have a couple of teams go and compete. So how do you think we should establish teams and try and meet the requirements for the Olympics, for kabaddi specifically, but just as a nation as well?
See, again, a lot of things are actually correlated, especially sports, correlated to your economic situation, right? So if you go back 15, 20, 25 years, you would not see China that prevalent or that prominent in the Olympics medal table. You look at now, it's in the top 3, right? So a lot of times it's all about the economics. It's all about how economy plays a role in improving and promoting sports in your country, right? And it is vice versa as well. At times sports encourages the youth to be more active, to be more positive, and that helps. So it's a two-way street. But to me, it's all about your economic situation. How the country is doing economically is going to actually reflect what's going to happen in the sports field as well, right? So when it comes to Olympics, again, it has to be thought through. There are certain sports where Pakistan can actually make a difference if focused, right? So you can never win a World Cup, football World Cup. You can never win a football World Cup, right? Let's admit it. So yes, football is very important, but I would give an example of a sport of, let's suppose, equestrian, right? Can Pakistan do better there? Absolutely. Can Pakistan win a polo World Cup? Yes. Can Pakistan win a kabaddi World Cup? Yes. Can Pakistan win a tent pegging World Cup? Pakistan has won 7 times. Pakistan has won tent pegging. So the point is that we have to focus on the sport where we feel we have the talent and there is less competition globally, and then just focus on that. So it helps you improve your ratings on the medal table.
And second last question technically, but where do you see kabaddi within the next 5 years, looking at the development that it's going at right now?
Well, you see, again, I would like to be very positive about it, because I know for a fact, and I know a few people who are working on kabaddi leagues as we speak. And once those leagues are established and they are broadcasted, the interest will generate. Once the interest generates, when the eyeballs are created for kabaddi, the sponsors will come in, and that's where the sport will start to improve. And that's what we need. You need to have money behind the sport. Once that is done, the sport automatically picks up, because the players then know that in our careers we will have some sustainability and we will have economic progress. Otherwise, it'll just be amateurs. You wouldn't have professional teams.
Last question. You've seen the movie Dangal, I'm assuming. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. No, Amir Khan. Yes. That movie brought a lot of attention to kabaddi because the girls actually started off with, their cultural sport. So, how do you think that movie took off, and why do you think so many people started gaining interest in kabaddi? And do you think there are more movies in our future or currently that can continue to do this for the sport?
Well, I have seen the movie. I think I've seen the movie, but I wouldn't want to give a mention of the why. And I don't have any figures that how many people got interested in kabaddi after doing that. But what I'm saying, and what I was saying earlier, it's all about eyeballs. If after that movie there was an interest, or there was a talk, or there was a ripple in among people about kabaddi, it's because it was a movie. There was Amir Khan. There was a story behind it. It touched upon how probably the father works with the daughters or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. So there was a drama behind it, right? There was action, there was emotion, and there was stardom. So any sport, let it be kabaddi or any other sport, if you develop some story behind a particular sport, people will start following and will start talking about it, right? So I hope in Pakistan we pick up sport and we pick up heroes and we pick up these little stories to make movies or to make documentaries or to talk about such sport, which can then help the younger generation to follow a sport or to play a sport.